Truth has become a right-wing concept. You cannot say it, because if you say it, you are considered right-wing. And to be right-wing is to be in league with the forces of evil.
I covered Melanie Phillips a few months back in a video titled The Disturbing Logic of the Left. And now she's back with another excellent video exposing the left's hatred for truth, for reality, for America, for freedom of speech, and why they justify political violence to defend their ideology. In light of the recent assassination of Charlie Kirk, it's more important than ever that we revisit the foundation to this disturbed ideology that has driven the left to radical new lows, such as embracing political terrorism. As always, like the video and subscribe to the channel, but let's start with the first part about the left's public enemy number one, truth.
Truth has become a right-wing concept. You cannot say it, because if you say it, you are considered right-wing. And to be right-wing is to be in league with the forces of evil. It is a Manichaean division between ideologies of one kind or another and those who don't subscribe to those ideologies. And the ideologies brook no dissent because they represent, in the minds of people who promote them, they represent goodness, brotherhood of man, progress, reason, education. And anyone who opposes them is against all good things. So they are not just wrong, they're not people to be argued with. They're people to be removed and silenced, because otherwise you're against all good things. So it's that division between good and evil.
The problem with the left is they derive all of their self-worth from being a progressive, which they find to be liberating and forward-thinking and good. And they internalize conservatism to be oppressive, to be evil. This puts them in quite the bind, because the natural progression of being a progressive would be, once you achieve the thing you set out to accomplish, once the culture war is won, you would then switch to conserving these changes. But this is contradictory to their belief that conservatives are evil. So they can never be satisfied. Nothing can ever be enough. The battle is never over. There always has to be another oppressive cultural dragon for them to slay. But when they look around and see that all of the battles have been won, everyone is equal, everyone is free, everything is fair and just, they must now start looking outside of reality for new issues to address. Or they'll simply create some out of thin air. When Barack Obama was elected in 2008, the reason why people were crying on the streets, why black people were okay with voting for him because he was black, despite his policies, is because many people saw that as the quintessential moment where racism was officially defeated, where all historical wrongs had been rectified, and we could all finally close the book on racism in America. Most of us thought there was no better proof that America was not a racist country than a black man being in charge of a majority white country with a history of systemic racism against black people. But then emerged the prominence of critical race theory, which said Obama's election is actually meaningless because America was founded as a racist country, because all of our institutions were created at a time when America was racist. Racism is actually baked in to every aspect of American life. And it wasn't just that racism was still prevalent, it was that racism was just as worse, if not worse, than Jim Crow, which meant the battle hadn't been won, which meant this isn't an issue we can finally put to rest. Now we must embark on a larger battle of tearing down all of the pillars and institutions of society, because they are all rot to the core with racism, even though the reality that everyone was experiencing said the opposite.